Hey everyone, and welcome to Piko Tutorials. Today we wanted to cover research and export. Within Piko, there's a few different ways to perform your research, so we wanted to kind of cover those today, and then along with exporting that media. So let's just pick on, I'll just pick on this camera here, right? If I drag a camera, like we talked about before, the motion that shows up in the timeline. So as I scroll up on this timeline, you're going to see a lot of motion on this camera because this camera is kind of a zoomed out camera and there's certainly a lot of motion. So anywhere within here, I can click zoom in on the timeline and it's going to show me the motion, right? So my timeline currently is 11:48 a.m. If I grab another camera associated, and it doesn't have to be, even though these two cameras are similar, it doesn't have to be at any point the same server or even the same camera, but now if I grab another camera, I see the same person walking through the door right at the same time. And then as I move forward, anytime I click on an area, all of those cameras are synced together. So like I just actually saw, there was one camera showed no data, the other camera showed motion. That's because one camera's got the motion, the other one doesn't. And so as that motion stops on one given camera, you're going to see that camera drop off to no data while the other camera continues on. And this is the same regardless of how many cameras we add. So say I'll just add all 4 cameras from this particular server. So now I've got a timeline that I'm watching and I see motion in 2 of the cameras, but 2 don't have any motion. So say I were to pause it right here. If this was the area that I wanted, right, I can scroll up and like we talked about earlier, I can drag and highlight this area, right? Right click, I can export directly from here. So that's one option that I do have, right? And like we talked about in export, if I either want a single camera, which would just be the one camera, or if I wanted multiple cameras, I could click on all 4 and it would export all 4 cameras at the same time. That's one option I have. Option number 2 is maybe I know the date and the hour range instead of me going through the scroll bar over and over and over again. What I could do is say, okay, I know the rough time, so I can go to my calendar, right? I can go to the 10th, I can go to 8 a.m., and I can go at 8, we'll go 8:03, and now I see, all the motion that's going on in that timeline. This just takes me to that timeline very quickly without having to scroll around on the timeline or zoom in and out, right? Now, my last option is an option that Pico's done a very good job at helping with, which is called Smart Motion. So I'm going to grab this same camera. And now, as you notice, there's a lot of motion on this particular camera. But say I don't know exactly the time that an area took place, or excuse me, I don't know the time that it took place, but I roughly know the area that the motion took place. So what I can do is I can click on Smart Search here, and I can actually highlight this area. And now what you're going to see is if I click on this area, now you're going to see motion every time somebody goes through that red box, right? So you're not going to see all the other motion that has to do with the trees and the cars moving or anything else. You're only going to see motion that has to do with that red box. This is going to help you research and zoom in on exactly what you're trying to find. And then once you find that point, right, now from here, you can zoom in and say, okay, now I've gone through that timeline very quickly. Okay, this is the area that I needed, right? Whatever that may be. And now, okay, here it is. Now I'm able to do the research that I need. I can hit pause. I can export that video directly from here, just like we would, and I can export. So there's another video that we're going to go over talking about all the additional features that Piko has and some of the really cool client features that we offer. So, please go through those other videos, but hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Thanks. Thank you for watching Piko Tutorials. If you'd like to watch more how-to videos around Piko, please click here for our tutorials channel. Or you can visit us at pikovms.com for more documentation and downloads.